is a very much historical thing, and you are absolutely right with the language. And so my hope is that when people on the islands get this book, that they will start to turn, that they will start to shift. I gave it to, I belong to a certain sport here on the island that's, it's a canoe club. And I gave the book to the president of the canoe club and my coach, who are both Hawaiians. Neither one of them said anything to me. They haven't said anything. And I know it's because, I believe it's because of fear. Yeah. And because also the historical trauma that they've had, because they've had their land taken so long, for so many times. There's Hawaiian homelands that have local Hawaiians on it for years, like 30, 40 years. Their family is supposed to get this land. They have to be a certain percentage of Hawaiian. If these people die, who are in line to get Hawaiian land, if they die, it does not go forward to their descendants.
Okay, I was going to ask that. A lot of people have been asking me, Sam, you brought, that to light, that the courts had awarded this land and money, and then the fire happened in August. The payments was supposed to happen in September. Did anyone receive that? Did the Hawaiian people actually get what the court said they would? Do you know?
I know that they got the $700 that for each family, $700.
Not during the fire. I'm talking about the Hawaii homeland lawsuit that ended. Remember, payments were supposed to go out in September of 2023, but the fire happened in August, so they didn't, did they?
Not that I know of, no. Yeah. And in fact, the woman who wrote my introduction, who talks story about how Hawaii has been taken over, she's on that list. Yeah. And she says nobody has gotten paid out. Nobody has gotten paid out. In fact, she knows one guy, man who died, who was on the list, and then his family gets a letter saying, "Oh, here's your land," but none of the descendants get it because the man, the father died. He's the only one that can claim it. He dies. 2 weeks later, they get a letter saying, "Here's your land," but nobody can claim it now.
Right.
Because the father has passed on. So it's absolutely evil. And that's the thing we have to remember too. That's why in the book I have a prayer at the end of each chapter, because this is a spiritual war.
Yes.
It's an absolute spiritual war. And I feel that, it took me one video to wake up to what was going on. This was about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. And because I was fighting with my boyfriend about 9/11, and I was like, no way, that would never happen. And then he says, Michelle, I'll pay you $100 to watch 1 hour of Zeitgeist. And you can find that on YouTube, Zeitgeist, Zygygeist or something like that, Zeitgeist. It's a 3-hour movie. After 3 hours, I'm bawling like a baby. I couldn't get out of bed for 3 days because I realized everything I knew about what I thought the United States of America was a complete lie.
Yes.
And at that time, there was nothing to do because then I wake up after 3 days. It was just like literally a part of me died. I was like, what do we do? And there was nothing to do. And that's why when the COVID happened, I knew what I was supposed to do. And I actually did a health summit 2 weeks after no more than 10 people were supposed to congregate. We had a 2-hour live stream at a local park, a local beach park, because nobody would rent to me. And I live streamed Peggy Hall and Dr. Mary Ruwert, and we talked about the whole pandemic thing.
Yeah.
And I told people, I said, over the last 6 years, more people on the state of Hawaii have died from the regular flu than the big C. And anyway, 2 hours later, long story short, 5 people get arrested. After 2 hours, the cops came. 5 people got arrested. They had 3 charges, the same charge. First, you can't do the same charge in the emergency proclamation. Second, mandates are not laws. Everybody.
That's right.
You have to listen.
That's right.
Mandates are not laws. A governor cannot make a law. The only people that can make laws is legislation.
That's
and it
right.
has to go through the legislative process. So this whole emergency mandates is a bunch of BS. So what happened was, after 6 months of court BS, all of the people held their ground that they did nothing wrong, and this was against their constitutional right, and all charges got dropped.
And they will. Michelle, they
They will
will.
every time.
People are afraid, and I understand. Guys, I really do. But, you know, we come from revolutionary stock. When they stood up to England for 2% tax, by the way, folks, 2% of their income was being
Wow.
taxed. And they said, you know what? No, we're not going to allow it. And they began a war with, at the time, the superpower of the entire world, the English army. And we won. We won. And now Americans are taxed. Your income is taxed by the federal government anywhere, depending on what bracket you're in, 12% to 30%. Then you have sales tax, land tax. You have to carry insurance on your vehicle or you're fined. You have to carry medical insurance or you're fined. You have to toe a line that is unconstitutional. And then they take our money and they give it to Ukraine, the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, Africa, Israel, Palestinians, you know, Iran. They gave our money to Iranians. I'm like, and I'm watching this happen, and it's like people just, guys, this is not freedom. This is not what freedom looks like, folks. Freedom is you're able to start a business without the regulatory red tape. In the book I'm currently writing, I literally write it out for everybody. I'm like, it's called a sustainable loop system. It's what I use on my farm to catch and recycle nutrients. Corporations do the exact type of loop, regenerative loop, to catch your money. Start with cattle, baby cows. They buy them, move them on a feedlot, a consolidated animal feedlot, a CAFO system. They feed them out on corn that they have grown on their thousands of acres of commercialized fields from seed that their seed company genetically modified and created. Then, as they're feeding at the cattle and they realize the cows are sick, they open up a bio department that creates vaccines and antibiotics to treat what's going on with the cattle. They sell it to the public because they get it regulatory, so now everybody has to use it. And then they give it to their animals. They slaughter and butcher the animals in buildings that they own, in companies they own. They package and deliver the food to your community in trucks they own. Then they take the manure, put it in a bag, call it black cow manure, and sell it back to you as a soil amendment, and they own that company. And then as you're getting sick from the toxic meat, they go create, because they know what's wrong with the cows, they know. So they go create antibiotics and medicine for you that your doctor prescribes you to heal you from the poison food they're feeding you. But the sickest part of it all, folks, is then they lobby DC to pass regulations to small and medium farmers that we can never afford to do. We simply can't. So we can never put our meat out there for you to purchase, even though our meat is organic, grass-fed, raised lovingly, supplied, you know, the whole life cycle. If you guys would come to a small homestead, not all of them, people inherently are bad, but some of us, we run regenerative farms where our animals are eating the food that we're growing. And it's like, they live a good life, folks. And then we butcher them with love and we thank them for it because they're our animals. And then we eat them. And guess what? Neither my husband or I have actually really been sick for the past 3 years that we've been doing this lifestyle. So what have I done? I have removed myself from their toxic cycle. That's happening over and over, Michelle. And it's the same corporations that own the entire cycle. And
That's correct.
yes, and where America was consumers, producers, we are now consumers. So they are literally nickeling and diming. People keep telling me this. I don't have any money, Sam. I don't have enough money. I'm on Social Security. I'm on disability. Who told you that was all the money you could make? Like, it even says it on the government site. This is not meant for you to live. Like, it's not enough money. It's a supplement. So why are you not doing anything to supplement your income? At least grow your own food. You'd feel better. You wouldn't be sick. And it's like
Yeah.
when you start to we start to release people, we're releasing them, Michelle. They're hearing us speak this truth and they get angry, they get hurt because they've been lied to, but they're not mad at you and I. But that's where, it comes out. The anger gets pointed at you and me. But overall, in the end, they realize all we did was set you free. We literally made you look in the mirror and say, tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how it makes
Absolutely.
sense. You know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's a cognitive dissonance because for me when I woke up, and again it took me one video and then there's so much information now, and it's really hard to understand how people are not looking understanding what's going on, but it's something when it'll change your entire life. Especially like professors who know what they're teaching isn't right, but they've been doing it for 40 or 40 years, that they don't know how to change, and they don't want to look that their whole education has been an absolute lie. So but that's what it takes. It takes us to, it takes our bravery just to say, no, I'm going to speak the truth and come out to let people know what's going on with this, because if we don't, like these people, it breaks my heart too to think about local people saying, thank you for only taxing me this much. What the heck, you guys? And somebody actually, I don't know if you saw the chat, because after she muted me yesterday, I looked at the chat and somebody says, they have a right to tax us. And I'm like,
I saw that.
Don't. Learn the Constitution.
I read what you wrote.
And then I just got off because I just couldn't even deal with it anymore. I was so angry. But that's the other thing I was going to share is that the thing about money. So you guys have to understand something about the frequency we're in. Okay, this is not this empty space that's around me and that's around Sam and it's around you who's watching this video. This is not empty.
Amen.
This is a frequency.
That's right, Michelle. Tell them, baby. Educate them.
This is a frequency field.
That's right.
And so what happens is they want us to be afraid. They want us to be feeling that we are small. They want us to not know our power. They want us to constantly be thinking in our heads about how am I going to pay the bills? I don't have enough money. All of that. That emotional frequency goes out into this field. This is how Jesus performed miracles, you guys.
That's right.
Because this field is filled with infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. Right. So what he did was he put his body in a frequency that goes, Lazarus raised from the dead after 3 days. And he put that in the field, and then Lazarus rose, because you cannot be denied. Right. We cannot be denied. If you do not know how your bills are going to be paid, here's a practice. And I've done this. I can tell you amazing stories that have happened. Like one really quick one is I wanted to go to Australia. I had the plane ticket. I didn't know who was going to teach my fitness classes. I didn't have the money to really go. And then what I did was I got into a frequency of gratitude. Yes. It's about gratitude. And I said, thank you, universe, for showing me how, who's going to teach me, bringing somebody who's going to teach my classes. Thank you for the money. I know it's already here. I'm so excited because I'm going to Australia in a complete abundance. And literally 2 weeks before I was supposed to go, the very first trainer I ever hired called me up and said, Michelle, I just quit my job. Do you have any classes for me?
Come on.
2 private training clients called me up and said, we want to hire you for 3 months. We'll pay you in advance. So I'm like, things like that happen. So when you actually have a set income that's coming from the government or from wherever, and you think that's all you're going to get, that's all you're going to get.
That's right.
But if you start to go, okay, universe, infinite creator that created me, I know that billions and billions of people could have been come forth when my parents got together, but I came forth. That's right. And that is not an accident. So I know that you are taking care of me, great spirit, infinite creator of everything that's moving the sun across the sky and moving the tides in the ocean. And I know that you have got so much abundance that is showing up in my life in ways I know and in ways that I don't know. And I get to watch as things unfold in my life for more abundance to show up. Amen. I get to watch and experience who I'm going to meet. Sam, this is
right. And then when you told me I'm going to be on Maui for the memorials, I walked outside. I said, Stephen, Michelle, I wasn't going to come back for the 1 year memorial. I was going to wait. I'd been there September and October, made some amazing friends who are indigenous people. They were like family, guys. I cannot explain it from the moment that we met. But the gentleman that is, I know there's a lot of different people claiming they have right to the throne, but this gentleman's name is literally on all the deeds. So I would call him the king. His Majesty reached out to me and said, come back to Hawaii. I need to speak to the Hawaiian people, and I want you to do that with me. I want to speak on your platform. I want to speak the truth. I want to call them home. Michelle, I got on my knees and I said, I got chill bumps, girl, goose skin as they call it there. I said, God, thank you. Thank you for letting me have the chance to amplify the voice of a man that's calling his genetic blood to blood family home. Thank you for letting me fight for somebody that had no way, hidden in Hana, ignored by the government, chased out of his ancestral empire. I mean, the palace is in this man's name, but he gets arrested when he goes. How? How does that make sense? But when you were talking about frequencies, you probably know what this is. Folks, listen, I had a lady make these. She made me triangles, cylinders, and long and short, and she made me circles. And they are filled with gold and copper and silver and nickel and lead. It's shavings and beads. There's also specific types of quartz and other stones that are known to push back EMF and microwave frequencies. They are now all around my house. And when she sent them to me, she said, "You've got a big mouth, Sam, and you're going to shake the world. So I'm going to send this to protect you, because from the sky to the earth, they can particularly just microwave you and your family." And she said, just put them around your windows, around your Wi-Fi box and other things like that, and disrupt what they're trying to do. And I can tell you this, I have never been more productive or more clear thinking. I love it. And guys, we're not talking nonsense. What Michelle and I are literally telling y'all is what people knew 1,000 years ago, 200 years ago.
That's right.
The truth of frequency healing. That's why when you go to Haleakala and you stand on that mountain and you have never felt peace like that in your life, it's because the heartbeat of Haleakala on Maui matches the frequency of the human heartbeat. And now it's on fire. So when they destroy Maui, folks, you're going to see the frequency of the entire earth shift. And when that shift happens, get ready for the Antichrist, because here he comes. I'm telling you, she is not lying to you when we say this is a spiritual war. There is a reason Michelle was called to go to Hawaii right before the pandemic. There was a reason Samantha was stopped in the middle picking squash and went, I'm going to go to Hawaii. And I've been back 3 times now. There is a reason she and I both are writing books. There was a reason J.J. Carroll came on my channel the other day, just wrote his own book. It's like the Lord is taking, Michelle and I are normal people. We're the people you pass in Walmart who probably still has their slippers on because we didn't put on shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not. And people look at us, Michelle, and they're like, oh, well, I never could do. I talked on YouTube for 2 years with no teeth. I don't want to hear you can't. I want you to tell me what you can do today. What can you do? Get up. Get off your blessed assurance, folks, because this life is your life and you are the only person responsible for it. That's it.
Absolutely. And you're called to do something. You know what it is when you'll feel it. When all the big, the pandemic started happening, and I had a friend of mine say, Michelle, these are the rules. And I said, this is America. We don't have rules.
Amen.
Like this. And this is, people are thinking this is China, communist China or something. Oh, yes, they can tax us. No, they cannot.
No.
So it's like, that's, and let that fire, let that anger pull you toward action. And if you don't know what the action is, that is when, I do prayers after all my YouTube channels, prayers, and in the book every single time, because it is creating a relationship with whatever you call source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. When you start to create a relationship, your intuition gets even stronger, and you
Yes.
know what is yours to do.
You're
And that's
right.
that's what our job is right now. And I still get really, angry at people that I'm like, okay, this is what I came for. This is why I came here. And I'm just going to keep doing, and I'm going to trust you, Great Spirit, because I don't know the outcome. I don't know how this is going to end. You know, and I know that I'm just going to do the best that I can do and keep my heart open to knowing that the people who are supposed to interview me, get the help get the book out, help
Yes.
do whatever, are going to show up. And that's when I've interviewed Jack and Margie, who I'm super grateful for, Jack and Margie Flynn. So I'm just telling you guys right now, if you're watching this, feel into your heart what's yours to do. I started
right.
StandTogetherHawaii.com. I'd love for you guys to go there, StandTogetherHawaii.com. Join the email list, because you can use what I created on that website for your own area. I've created affidavits from Jack and Margie Flynn. They had the template. You guys can use that for your own city council, county council. That's
Yes.
under action. You can go again, StandTogetherHawaii.com, click on Maui Fire. That will give you even so much about what happened with the Maui Fire, not just the actual things that happened, but the Direct Energy Weapons Acquisition Act of 2016, because I don't know if you guys know about this Acquisition Act, but the Department of Defense had been working with direct energy weapons since the 50s and the 60s, and they didn't have enough money, even though they spent $6 billion in the 60s to bring these direct energy weapons to market, to bring it to fruition. They couldn't bring it to fruition. So Congress acquired the direct energy weapons program, and our tax money has paid for these direct energy weapons to come to market, to be used. And in my opinion, were used on the Maui Fire. You will learn again why blue things didn't burn.
That's
why
right.
Organic material like trees didn't burn from the inside out. Why bodies were found charred. That is not normal.
No, it's
in
not.
In a normal wildfire, the body burns from the outside in. In this wildfire, it burned from the inside and left the body completely recognizable, with hair recognizable.
That's crazy.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah,
it
so
is crazy.
One more plug is greatmaui.fire.com.
Y'all get this book.
Get you the access to that book, and yes, and join StandTogetherHawaii.com. Again, create your own website. It's so easy, and model what I did, copy what I did. I don't care. Just get it out there to your own community, because just like Sam was saying, this is our job to do. We're just normal people who just said, I'm taking a stand because this is not happening on my watch. And my kuleana is to do something about it.
That's right. That's right. And guys, look, I mean, we know what we're risking. We do. I'm going to ask you guys, when y'all go to bed tonight, I know people always say, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. No, if you tell me that and don't do it, shame on you. I need you guys to lift people up. Michelle, myself, my trip to Maui, Michelle, has been under attack. This one has been under attack like never before. The first one went off without a hitch. The second one, there was a resistance in the spiritual world, not from people, but I could feel the attacks coming. When I tell y'all that this one, when the invitation by the king came in, when I realized that it was going to coincide with the memorial, when I realized that we were going to be there at a time, we just had to be there. We just put it that way. When I tell y'all that I can feel it in the vibration and frequencies around me, the attacks coming after us. It is no doubt Satan and evil simply does not want me on that island like never before. When the king said, let me call my people home, immediately the spiritual attacks began. And I really honestly believe, because God tells you throughout the Bible, he'll bring you into the land that he promised your fathers' fathers, okay? So I believe that land is precious. And most people do not realize is that I currently live on 2 acres that belonged to my husband's 7 times grandfather. So that cycle of
I have to
life.
be right back.
Oh no,
I have to
you're
be right
good.
back.
You're good. Go.
I have somebody at the door.
Okay, baby, go ahead. We're gonna take a break. That is Michelle from Hawaii. I'm not able to really like check, the comments, guys. I apologize about that. But what you're seeing is us talking about what is going on in Hawaii, why it is so important that I get back on this trip. Guys, look, if you have not sent $1 for this mission trip, that's all we're asking is that everybody send $1. We can pass it out.
Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I do the same thing. But Michelle, I think for most people, what they need to understand is that I never knew Hawaii wasn't part of the United States until I watched your video on it. When I watched your video on it, I went, this doesn't make any sense. And not to mention my indigenous friends, Justin and Carrie are amazing. They don't try to force things on me. Justin will just send me a bit of truth because he knows I'm a truth finder. He doesn't need to micromanage my thoughts or be upset with me because I can't see it from his point of view. He'll just drop me a text or a link of video, and he knows. He'll just sit back and wait because he knows I'm going to dig. My good friend that lives on Maui up in Kula sent me a book about the Hawaiian Islands and their belief in God. She said, you got to read this book. I started to read it, and lo and behold, folks, Hawaii knew about the one true God, the Holy Spirit, and the Son 2,000 years ago. They believed in a creative God. They believed in the Spirit, and they believed that he would send a son to reconcile us to him, right? They believed all this. Sometime, I think, Michelle, you have to correct me, about 600 years ago, a cult priest from around the world made it to Hawaii. And in the process...
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they killed off all the one true God's priest and put themselves in place and began to twist the truth of God. Why is that important?
Which they've been doing forever. So,
in every religion, right? Worldwide.
Yeah, because I think I actually feel this is from the Canaanite line. I think it comes all the way from Cain and Abel, Canaanites, the Khazarian Mafia, the Jesuits, all of it.
Yes.
And it comes all the way down. And so this is like we've said, this is a spiritual war. It's an ancient spiritual war. But I think that there's something with this world that we came here to I think it's some type of game for our soul, for our spiritual expansion, because the trauma, which being in a human body, every single one of us has trauma in relationships that when we actually go through the trauma and emotionally expand through forgiveness, not just for other people, but for ourselves.
That's right.
There's something that happens with our soul that it's an expansion. This is why also doing this work of standing up for what is right and going in and telling and doing the work around having these people, forcing them to go back to the Constitution. That is also a spiritual expansion. When you're afraid and you do something, you expand your spirit. Like when I was during the pandemic, I knew that I was supposed to go to this one grocery store that I always go to, and I wasn't going to wear a mask. And so I was going and I was praying, and I was like, I am the truth, I am the light, I am the love. And I just kept going. And I'm just like, Lord, and before I go in, I went, Great Spirit, infinite intelligence of all things, you guided me here to do this. I trust you. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to leave what happens to you. And I walked through the grocery store, and people with masks on were smiling at me. I could see their eyes. And then I get up to checkout. First clerk says you need to wear a mask on. I said I'm medically exempt, and then get all the way through. The lady had one more button to press, and then the manager comes in and says, I can't let you do this transaction because you don't have a mask on. I said, first of all, I'm not killing anybody.
Amen.
Second of all, this is I'm a medically exempt. It's emergency J of the emergency proclamation that says I can shop without a mask if I have a medical exemption, which I do, and you don't have a right to shut down to prove to you I do because that's privacy.
That's right.
And then she wouldn't let me shop. She wouldn't let me check out. So I said, who is in charge? Who's in charge? I want to speak to your manager. So the manager of the shopping center, it was a very small shopping center, comes down, and I said, she said, would you wear a shield? And I said, no. I said, I'm not going to dishonor the million of men and women who fought and died for my freedom.
That's right.
And she herself took me back into the store, checked me out, gave
come
me
on.
a bag, and said she's medically exempt. And that was the power. You know,
That's
was I
right.
afraid? Yes, I was afraid. But I still did it because I was like, universe, you put this spark in my heart to do what I know is right.
We're soul
And
sisters, yeah.
that is what that's the name of the game, you guys. This is a game. And if you transition out of your body without following your guided inspiration and your intuition of doing what you know is right, you are going to, in my opinion, I don't know for fact, but I feel like you will regret it. You will look back at your life and go, why didn't I do that? I wish I would have just tried. And
Right.
that's all we have to do is just try sometimes. I don't know if this is going to work with holding these county council members accountable to the Constitution, with especially Heather Kimball, who's absolutely, what she's doing is so criminal. She should actually be in jail for violating her oath of office. But I'm going to try. I'm going to write a letter to the Attorney General, show her how she's violating her constitutional oath, and then take it to the next step. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust that I'm here for a reason, and I'm going to trust that this is my Kuleana, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just putting that out there to all of you guys. And I just want to do one more plug on the book.
Yes.
Great Maui Land Grab. You can get it at Great Maui Fire. If you have anybody who is wondering what the heck is going on in the United States, this book is going to share what that is. Why in the world this madness is happening and what we can do about it.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, if you're watching this, thank you so much. And Sam, mahalo so much for having me. And I'm looking forward to meeting you when we go to Maui.
I know,
And,
cannot wait.
Especially for your work that you're doing in the world. It's so vital. And your farm, thank God, because we all need to be growing our own food right now. It's very important.
And I'll get the book when we're done. Y'all, we're hoping to publish ours beginning of September. My newsletter editor is also the editor for the book and co-author. So we're writing it together. I'm basically putting the information in, and she's coming back and making it understandable, I guess, would be, fluffing it for me and doing all of that, because I'm multitasking so hard right now. But guys, I feel so vibrant. I feel so alive. Like, I can tell my frequencies are going at an extreme rate right now. And it's like, there is a purpose for this, because, your time is beautiful. Your time is precious. If you're depressed, the first thing that is stolen from you is your time, because you can't get out of bed, right? I've been there, folks. I was an addict for 15 years. I started with prescription pain pills from a doctor, all the way through the gauntlet of every drug ever created, through everything that I had away. And I wouldn't even try, because I kept thinking, look what I lost. COVID hits, what happens? I get clean and sober during that period of time, because I'm telling you guys, Michelle, I was on drugs, illegal drugs, and I remember listening to them shut down churches, and the Holy Spirit began to speak to me. Get up, Samantha. Created you for a moment. And this is that moment. Get up and fight. And I put it all down. We put down every drug, and we walked away, and we began to sow into our community, into our children, into our lives. And we began to build, and we began to say, we have everything that we need. We never looked at what we didn't have, because folks, we had nothing. We had threw it all away for so long. We didn't have anything. We started with nothing. And we are building something that is going to send frequencies for hundreds of years if the earth remains. Don't let anything steal your time. It's your most precious thing, folks. If you can't do anything, just sit there and do exactly what Michelle said. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. If that's all you can say, I don't care what's going on in your life. Thank you. Thank you. And you will see. I tell people all the time, you're going to reap what you sow. Your words are a seed. Your money, it's a seed. If you're broke, go find somebody that's more broke than you and give them your money.
And help them.
That's it. I used to not have gas. we were coming out of being bad addicts with nothing. And I would pull up to people and I would fill their gas tanks up. And my husband would be like, honey, that was 45 bucks. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's okay. God told me to. Y'all, my hand to God, I have never not had gas money since. Ever not had gas money since. You've got to get past what your needs are and put yourself out there to love and help humanity. If you'll just apply the principles, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Michelle, thank you
Absolutely.
so much. You are an angel. Cannot wait to meet you in Maui. We'll be there. I'll be in Honolulu on the 1st. I'm flying in on Delta. And then I've got to catch, a jump plane, but they don't run that late as I'm coming in. So I'm gonna go see where they had Pearl Harbor that morning. I'm gonna hop a plane on the 2nd, land in Maui, drive to Hana, meet with the king, stay in Hana overnight, meet with the king the next day. Then I'm going back to the other, like almost all the way to Lahaina on the 3rd that evening. And I will be there until we fly out late on the 12th. I've got your phone number. We will get together. We'll do some videos for both our channels and we'll just get together and we'll just be thankful that we serve such an amazing creator. I mean, look at what he's done with this world, you guys. I can't wait to see what
It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. It just takes us all, again, that's why I'm like, stand together, Hawaii, stand together. So you guys take that, stand together,
for your
wherever
community,
you are,
right?
For your community, and that's, we've got this. This is why we came here.
That's right.
This is a game. This is a total game that we're playing together. And Sam, I just want to say thank you. I do have to head. I have somebody here, but
yes, ma'am.
Much
Thank
mahalo,
you,
everyone, for watching. And you can get Great Maui Land Grab. And
get the
only
book.
place right now is greatmauifire.com. And please share it. Much mahalo.
Mahalo, love. See you in about 3 weeks. Bye.
Sounds good. Aloha.
Aloha. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, that is an amazing woman, right? Right, mahalo, Michelle. Cannot wait to meet her. Please consider supporting our Maui mission trip, folks. This isn't about going on vacation. You've obviously not watched me long enough if you think that's what I'm going to do when I get there. This is about bringing light to the darkness. This is about taking back what they took from us. This is about redeeming the time. God bless you guys. Like, comment, and